Tracing if statement, worksheet number 6. Yet another boring video by Mr. Minnick, but very important video because there's a lot of boring, important stuff in the world. Number 1, if we assume that grade is equal to 85, it's a variable. This is Visual Basic, of course. And by the way, there could be logic errors in the code that we're about to trace. Keep that in mind. So if grade is equal to 85, we ask if this first control expression is true or false. Is 85 greater than 90, greater than or equal to 90? No, it's not. So because this is false, we skip this message box and we check out the next else if control expression and we ask, is 85 greater than or equal to 80? Well, it is. Because that's true, the computer will execute the code in that body, in that section of the else if, and therefore this will pop up on the screen, and that's the answer to this question. The rest of the else if else is ignored because that's how if statements work. Well, that worked for an 85, but I wonder, will this code work for numbers like 71 or 62? Well, lucky for us, we have question number 2 here to answer. So let's circle that as the answer there and look at number 2. If grade is 71, then this control expression here is false. Therefore, we don't do that. And now we ask, is 71 greater than 80? No. And when you have a false ANDed with anything, you don't even have to check this. The whole thing there is false. So none of this executes. And now we trickle down to this else if. Is 71 greater than or equal to 70? Yes. So that's like a little mini t for true. Is 71 less than 80? True. And what do you get on a truth table if you have a true ANDed with another true? Yes, you get dessert. You ate both asparagus and broccoli, so sure you get dessert. Therefore, the code does print out the message box, you earned a C. And somebody who gets a 71 in most school districts does earn a C, so it seems correct and logical. I'll leave it to you to trace this code with other numbers like 61, 91 to make sure it works in all situations. But moving on now to number 3 on this worksheet. Okay, here's a scenario where we have grade equal to 85. But right away I notice that this if else is different than the one above. This one starts at 60 and kind of builds up to 70, 80, 90. That one up there went from 90 down to 80, 70, 60. Kind of different. Maybe it still works, maybe it doesn't. Let's try it. Let's trace it. Grade is 85. So you plug in 85 in there and you ask yourself, is 85 greater than or equal to 60? Yeah, true. And if it's true, you automatically do whatever's in that section of the if statement. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's what happens. Here's the student, Zach, who has an 85, and the online software is telling him that he has a D. And now his parents are asking him, why do you have a D? And he says, I did all my homework, except that one thing that knocked me down to an 85. But I should have an 85. I don't understand. But the software young man says that you got a D. All Zach can say, politely, of course, and respectfully to his parent, is that it must be a programming mistake in that software. And then it's your parents' job, I guess, to call the school district, whose job it is then to call the company named Kwiatkowski Industries and find the programmer that So this is wrong. This just does not work. It's a logic error, and I like to call this upside down logic. They should have put the greater than or equal to 90 at the top, then the greater than or equal to 80, and then the 70, and then the 60. Or like a student once named Emily, who always uses good style and types out extra code even when it seems optional. This student Emily would write, if grade greater than or equal to 60 and grade less than 70. If that would have been added, then this person with an 85 would not have been swept up and been given a D by that section. So sometimes you should add that extra code, even though you think it's optional. It turns out it isn't optional because the order here of these else ifs is wrong. Any questions? Number 4, what do you call this when you have an if-else statement inside another if statement?
A nested if statement?
Good answer, nested if statement. Glad at least one person there knew that. Yes, you can talk on the video. If else is inside here. Well, let's see what happens. 81. 81 is not greater than or equal to 90, so none of that's false, which means all of this is ignored because it's part of that if. It's ignored. We trickle down to this else if. Is 81 greater than or equal to 80? True. So this is what you should have circled on your worksheet. It worked. 81 landed to a B. And last of all, number 5. Number 5 here. Okay. And number 5, grade is equal to 75. Is 75 greater than 100 or less than 0? No, it's not. So lucky for us, it does not print out that a software error occurred. Trickling down. Is 75 greater than 0? Yes. Is 75 less than or equal to 50? No. When you have a true ANDed with a false, overall that part of the if-else-if statement would be false, and therefore we do not do that part. And because we have an else, that's the catch-all, that's the default. That happens no matter what if you made it that far. And so that's the answer.